Not much I can do. Kinda brained it to the maximum. His T95 has literally just sat there the entire game. Like, literally done nothing. I'm not sure whether to be impressed or fucking depressed. You know? That's impressive, man. Jägeroid was an idiot. T95 was an idiot. IS3, I mean, I guess he just was forced to play against a tier 10, which in which case he just loses, right? Just didn't really have a team there. Jägeroid player. Malshin honestly didn't play badly. I kinda like that. It's nice to see. Best thing like the best thing though, the Ucrafter is like, what's the fucking point? Isn't it just easier to accept the fact that there are players out there better than you, right? Why go through all of this extra elaborate effort in order to prove something that doesn't exist? You know, sometimes the simple solution just is the right answer. But these people just don't wanna accept that, I guess. Hello, Thug. Thank you. You do not have to drive into my ass, man. These fucking people are geniuses. Look at these idiots, man. I could technically pen that, but I need a good roll. It's fine, Giander. It was pretty saucy. By the way, I'm thinking about bringing back the, you know, the bid alerts. Channel point bid alerts, so you can get, so you can say something funny on the stream. I found a clip of Joe Rogan where he's going, he used to be pretty normal, but then he got saucy. I like that. Saucy. That is a little crazy. It's the Selmoid. That's pretty bad. It's one of those Eric concepts. Is he? He is visible. Whoa. Should have gone left. I don't end up taking another one, but that was pretty risky. I don't think there's any running for me. I need to just sit and fight. Hmm. I think I have a blind, so this game is fine, but I should have moved earlier. That much is evident. Could get a 6 cent sound alert. I just want to do it proper. I want to do it for. I want to figure out like price slash channel point range where people just don't spam it all the time, because I don't really want that. I kind of want it to be used sparingly and intelligently. You know what I mean? That was what was the problem with the last one. I think I set the prices too low, so they started annoying me. Alright. I think I'm gonna do like today's stream will have to be short because I'm gonna go and do some skirmishes here in a second, and I don't want to keep all the other homies waiting for way too long for me. So I don't want to stream skirms. So maybe I'll stream after, probably not, but I'm planning on tomorrow being a long ass stream. That's my idea so far. So the spammable ones a lot higher than the general zones. Yeah, yeah, but like it's like just in general, people tend to spam it a lot, right? But like to get you guys' idea on why I find it funny, let me just find it. It's like Joe Rogan talking about Sam Zulik, right? If you know who that is. That kid is just omega roided up. And it's one of the funniest ways I've ever heard anyone say saucy before. I just watch this shit. Yeah, just listen to this. I like, I'm gonna need to find that, but just isolated for those, those insane shots, so people can put it down for that. Saucy! Saucy! Fucking love that shit. There's one that's better. I think it's this one. It's like an edit, right? This guy's definitely on roids, by the way. I even think he said so. Here comes. Saucy! Fucking love that shit. Saucy. 6 years natural transformation. He got that big in 4. Definitely roided. Like 100%. There are pictures of him where you can like easily tell because he has this shit that you don't really get from natural workouts. Believe it's train or some shit he's on. Yeah, on the same level as beer cans to the fucking ceiling. That's a classic clip as well. Still gonna send it. There's also that one, yeah. Yeah, his liver, his kidney, his heart, all of it's fucked, man. I don't think that if he continues like that, that kid won't live till 50. That's for sure. He's fucking sauced up, man. That's a term, I guess. What do you want me to use rather? Roided up, juiced up? Definitely not oatmeal, you know? Like, what do you want me to say? But it's true though. You do not get that fucking. You do not get that saucy on just oatmeal alone. You don't, right? All right. More WC. Think we discovered more brain rot. It's gonna be pretty bad once it gets rolling. I keep forgetting I have like a trillion fucking books for this nation. I literally don't have anything to use those things on. That's 75 here. I can't wait till we get the opportunity to sell our crew books. Wouldn't that be wicked? I'll be able to sell a bunch of shit. Maneuvers is gonna be special, yeah, I think so too. Are you excited, you crafter? I kinda am. I know I'll be excited for the first week, and the second one will just be a marathon. I'll be wanting it to end every day. Yeah. I want a safe way to sell my organs for good money, not some shady black market surgeon. Yeah, get rid of that piece of fucking shit appendix. Don't need that don't need that shit. All it's gonna do is just randomly decide to explode one day. There's new customization stuff, even 3D stuff. Skin is an organ? Can I sell that? You probably can. Some people need some graphs out there, you know, bikers and shit. Because they like donating a lot of their skin to the roads randomly sometimes. Right. 2 minutes. Got terrible dandruff. I don't think they'd like that. Dandruff would be crazy just handing him a fucking bag of this dusty powder. Oh, it's like a kilo bag of this dusty powder. Police pulls you over. What the fuck is that? You know? Oh, it's just dandruff. A kilo of dandruff. A kilo of dandruff. Just visualizing that is rancid to me. Yeah, right, buddy. Tell that to your lawyer. They go ahead and test it and it is dandruff, and then they're just basically mortified that someone would be carrying a kilo of that shit around. Is that better or worse than a jar of fingernails? I think they're equally shit. It's like a jar of fingernails is disgusting as well. It's like, would you keep a jar of toe clippings? You know what I mean? Get some fungus in them bitch. No. Jesus Christ, stop. Alright, I will. Can be made worse though. You guys know the pictures I'm trying to hint at you. Something jar with figurine in it. Yeah? I think toe clippings and shit is pretty safe on that list, yeah? People collect weird shit. Heavy button fluff is up there for sure. Yeah. 100%. It's like sleep when you wake up as well. Oh man. Alright, I'll stop. Going more and more schizo with every option. I collect burgers. I collect burgers, dude. I store my burgers so I can study them later. POV Artie main. Yeah, Shrek's earwax candles, yeah. Oi, oi, oi. I believe it's time to skedaddle if I can even pull that off anymore. Okay, 257 is just literally shit peeking. I'm fine with one shot. Tusk is not gonna pen that. He might pen it once. A bit of a lucky boy, aren't you? Sharoid made a mistake. Exploded for it. Out of every place that dude could have gone, in the middle of the open was not what I was expecting. You know? You're peeking that unspotted when I'm sitting on almost 500 meters of view range. Anyway, it's good enough. Alright, I wanna just like ask you, and like we're gonna try to keep it normal though, but continuing the same theme. What is the most disgusting but kind of normal thing that you can have just stored, right? I'd say having like having stale bread or moldy bread is pretty disgusting, right? But sometimes you just don't even fucking see it, right? And sometimes it happens way faster than normal. That are like onions you don't use and they start sprouting and fucking putting roots down everywhere, right? At that point, of course, you throw them out, right? But you don't always get to them in time. Off moldy food that you don't know, is there? Yeah. Imagine going out trying to, like, in Denmark, cartons of milk are not transparent. I don't know how normal that is around the world, right? But it's like, you can have a carton of milk that you might forget about, or you, I don't know, fucking leave it out accidentally or some shit. And then when you get to it, well, it's completely separated and half of it is just curd, you know what I mean? But you can't tell just by looking. I think that's probably one of the worst. It's like old milk. Eggs scare me, dude. OP. That's one of the scariest foods for me to eat. I don't know why, but I'm always terrified that I'm just gonna randomly get hit with this shitting, you know, the shitting syndrome for a couple of days. Pictures of dog shit? Why would you ever keep that though? Do people actually do that? BC68 getting folded is kinda bad. Oh, I would love to hear some. Because it's like genuinely interesting just how degenerate people can get. At least to me. My dad used to do used to work as a plumber as well, or like a, I don't know, like an assistant plumber or something. But he had some pretty interesting stories as well. I see you, Crafter. But of course you delete that shit afterwards, don't you? People make these big old pickle, like these big old jars of stuff that's just pickled, right? It's like they just make this big old jar of just pickled fucking everything. And it can be in there for months, you know? I find that pretty disgusting. The result is okay, I guess. Because you kind of use it, I don't know, they use it for cooking and shit, right? It's just the idea of having something you just collect just to ferment. It's like, have you ever seen what a century egg is? You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's edible, but but everything in your mind tells you it shouldn't be. Has any one of you guys actually had century egg? Have you tried that? Never heard of it, to be honest. Google it. It's insane. Apparently, it's fucking like it's basically just a massive source of salt, right? It's like supposed to basically just be salt. It just looks like a black hole that you put into your food, and then you're supposed to eat that shit. It's so off. It's gone so off that it's come right back to being edible. You know what I mean? We said Juto would just get out of that shit, to be honest. I'm not expecting him to figure it out, though. Means we need to set up for the defensive position. That means here. What the fuck is this? RD's always a nice thing to play against. I see nothing not factual here. See if we can bait a shot. And hello there, TG. kind of annoying, not gonna lie. I don't know why you're here. I bounced the whole clip though. That's a cunt. Can you get that fucking gun out of the way? Please, man, get the gun out of the way. Thank you. Well, neither do I, man. Just as clueless as you are. Good. Not good. Mm-hmm. You're a smart cookie, aren't you? Okay, he pins. GG. I don't think I pinned the guy in the 13 when I hit him at that range. That must have been a splash and then just a massive, massive RNG roll. This thing. I would never call myself that. I know there are people better than me. But I am a TD main. It depends. I can have some days where everything is just weird. I'm perfectly happy as long as I have some watching me. I love this position. This little counter thing is just the best in the world. You just keep pounding it, and like eventually the people that are sitting there are forced to leave. And it's the bad chat's time. That's a hit. That's a hit again. Ah, he's not very happy, is he? You see that? I know a secondary position. We're gonna go and use that one instead. Okay, the bad chat. As I said, man, he's not very happy. I've done some terrible things to that man. Kinda crazy that. Not really expecting to get spotted there. Good. Like this tank? Yeah, I do. I don't know whether to push this or not to. Kinda stuck at a crossroads as far as choices go. I don't really have the HP to just go and trade with him. His DPM, even though the gun is bad, is actually quite good. I'm thinking about running, if anything. I'd like to see if I can get one shot into this M6 and then probably just book it from there. You see that is the second option. I can just push. We go here. You know I don't do that, TG. You can play however you like. I just think that's not a very good build. On tank destroyers in general, you want to maximize your gun. You put too much into your survivability, unless you're in a tank destroyer that's that's purpose built for it, i.e. E3 and Bliska and shit like that. But on something like this, I would never do it. The gun needs to work. That's the most important part. You can get around not having track health and health in general just fine. That one's kinda lucky, but it's kinda 50-50 with 260. And it being APCR, it means it's probably more like 270. I don't know. Maybe I got lucky there. Gun is so derpy for me. The trick nemesis is just don't turn the hull too much, backwards and forwards. It's when you turn that this shit blooms. And if you need to turn, do it very, very slowly. See if you can like stutter step it, you know what I mean? Because the bloom only, like, the way bloom works is it's a value that's calculated off of your traverse speed. Well, it's not calculated off of your traverse speed, but how much you will bloom is calculated off of your traverse speed. So if you're just going full tilt, it maximizes, right? Very quickly. But if you stutter it a little bit, you can keep it very, very minuscule. Prefer stabs to improved aiming. I don't really believe in improved aiming conceptually. I think that on a lot of tanks that you would normally put it on, the benefit it gives you is hardly tangible. So I'd have to say stabs over it. The only exception to this room, Flasker, is if you have a tank that's already exceptionally, like that's got exceptional, insanely good accuracy. No, insanely good gun handling. Like if the gun handling is S tier, then you can run an IAU just fine. So on something like, shall we say the Leopard, right? Great example. If you don't want to run vents, you can run IAU, and then just go for full DPM build and keep your accuracy exactly as is. But this is the build I prefer on it. I like this a lot. It's just I don't have a lot of tanks I run it on. The only ones I've tried is something like an SU-130 PM, and I didn't really feel any difference on that thing. And then you have this thing, right? Here you might want to put it on. I ran it on the TVP. This one is a good tank to put it on. Something like this. Then you just go stabs, stabs, Vince. Like I think I went stabs, Vince, and then IAU, I believe. I didn't go turbo on this thing. It's pretty okay. Rotation of aiming on the ball just to get the gun working properly. Yeah. But like, remember what I just said a moment ago. You're on the Borask in particular. It doesn't turn very well to begin with. You can run a rotation mechanism to get that a little bit better. But conversely, when you run a rotation mechanism on a tank that has pretty poor substance, and then you suddenly turn a lot faster, the blur becomes like the bloom becomes way more killer. That's why logically it makes more sense to just keep steps IAU rather than steps IRM, you know? It's like IRM can shoot you in the foot if your tank has horrific gun handling to begin with. The most important part of IRM though is the fact that it keeps the bloom minuscule between shots, right? Mm-hmm. Uh, Rake it does. It improves crew skill, which then does that, right? It doesn't do it by a lot. But it's like, there you go. That's about what I would run on it. That's what I ran on it. Hmm. It's not a lot, but it's a little, and I do think it matters. It's like you can't turn very. I mean, it's got decent traverse speed. You don't really need the IRM, and your turret already rotates ridiculously quickly, right? So if you chuck an IRM on this, and suddenly it rotates at 60 or something. I don't know. I wouldn't run an IRM on this. I think I even tried it, and I didn't really like it. IRM is like a skill you use on tank destroyers exclusively. Well, not a skill, an equipment piece. That and artillery. Yeah. Well, Killer, if you need to make a tight turn, you can always use the handbrake. Again, stuttered. Like, click it quickly so you get the turn going, right? It's only because one of the tracks turn at a time. What do you mean? Oh, it doesn't have zero turn. It doesn't have a like central. What is it called again? They explained it with the 50B and the 57 in Daki's video. There's like two types of turning in this game. You have one where it doesn't have zero turn, so it can't just rotate the other track in reverse and the other one in forwards whenever it's turning. So it can't turn on this like it can't turn on the spot. It has to do a little X-shape thing. Hmm. That's zero turn, no? Brask doesn't have that, I guess. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The 50B has the same thing, so you can like raise your gun and then press A and D to like slowly inch forwards towards people, and it's super funny. It looks so stupid. I love doing that. The question is just, I don't know. Maybe I speed ran the Grom a little too quick. We could do Caroid, this thing. Let's do some curry. Yeah, good with that. Neutral steer, that was the word I was looking for. That is the word I was looking for. 1150, so these go 1300. Those go over 1000. I'm keeping the shell speed on this. This one I might want to get rid of. It's actually rare that it's really useful. I think that was probably better. Happy enough with that. Good. The new Viking news. Good. I kind of like the inclusion. I wish I watched the series now. That's kind of what I feel about it. If they can get him to speak some Danish, I'll be fucking happy. Because he's supposed to be from Denmark, isn't he? Well, historically. Björn Luxelbrook. That's awesome. I just don't know how the Vikings really fit into Christmas. That is the only thing. It would have been much nicer if they picked someone weird. I can't wait till we get so far into the World of Tanks, the rabbit hole, that we're gonna get fucking Joe Rogan as a commander. If that happens, I'm literally gonna explode mentally. But that IP is probably way too expensive for them. Morgan Freeman, yeah, that'd be nice. Am I shooting standards? No, it is gold. Bit odd. I didn't think that upper glaze was that angled. I don't think it's worth it. He's too passive, and he's just gonna hide between shots, and I can't peek carelessly, because if the gunk catches me, I'll have no HP, so we just need to see if we can get up here and start a little bit of sniping. I mean, nobody could have predicted they would go for the Vikings IP, right? So yeah, technically they could do whatever they want. Apparently they have the money. I don't think that was cheap either. I think it's cool. Pretty poor rolls. That's a little better. I hit the gap. Unlucky. That's a bit of a problem. Less of an issue now. Very good. Gronk was coming straight for me. Not sure if I like that. It's a bit crazy. Okay. They're going. Cool. That means I need to quickly get involved. Twins is just YOLOing in. Really don't like the fact that he's just sitting there in the open. That's very annoying. At least it means he won't really be able to shoot me for doing this. They could. This thing does not make money though. Not without boosters at least. My shooting wasn't even that bad. It's just the consumes that are massively expensive. Not much, Sayboy. Just doing a little bit of gaming. It's going good. Pretty decent session so far. Pat and the Prankster is dead and gone buried. This is what it says now. Oh, it didn't do it proper. I'm gonna need to somehow fix that. Don't like the fact that there's just a light sitting in the open. It's pretty annoying. I like stuff with guns that tend to be really good. I don't know, it's like heavy tanks and tank destroyers. I like playing around with armor. Mediums as well. The only thing I really don't play is light tanks. But I guess if I were to explain it in a logical kind of sense, I feel like tank destroyers have some of the most varied gameplay styles in the game. I think they have the biggest amount of variety when it comes to what some of them are strong at and what some of them suck at. Yeah, true. Most unbalanced class matchmaking wise, this is true. And I don't disagree, it should be limited. My favorite TD? I have a couple at this point. I like the Polish TDs. My 114 SP2 is probably my favorite TD in the game. And then you have stuff like the Kari and Hori, which are just solid as well. Yeah. I see what you're saying now, Stepsis. It's both the amount of tank destroyers you can sometimes get in a lobby, but mostly it's because of this variety that you sometimes end up having a team consisting of tank destroyers that are specialized for sniping and supporting, and tank destroyers that are specialized for pushing and for pushing and brawling, which just means that the enemy team will sometimes just for free get a couple of extra heavy tanks, essentially, right? Assault TDs are the most broken. That's a bit unlucky. Feel like I got a little fucked there. Better. Yeah, no, I've tried to play up close and personal as much as I can in any one of any TD I play. Well, TDs, yeah, I see what you're saying. They already have a system they could use or reuse or reapply to basically try and fix this matchmaking issue. And I don't understand either why they haven't done it yet, because it's basically right there for the foot to shoot, you know? It's coming eventually, I think. But that'll fix a lot of problems if they start doing that. The only problem is Wargaming is so scared of making the matchmaking queue even a second longer, you know? They're worried that people are so addicted to the game they can't handle waiting 10 more seconds for a more balanced lobby. Which I don't really understand. Wasn't it the same reason why they didn't want to limit the amount of artillery we had in the game for so long? Is because the reasoning was it would make the queue time for artillery players way longer, right? Should be ±1, easy. Yeah, yeah. I think so too. I think they should at least split a lot of the low tiers off from the high tier stuff a lot more. One thing they could do already to kind of fix, I don't know, for the new players that are coming in, you know, it would be nice for the tier 6 enjoyers not to have to play against tier 8s because tier 8 is essentially more or less equal to tier 9 these days, right? That's just not a fun experience. They could start by doing that. Yeah, there's also that problem. I don't think it's gonna be good either, but like what they could do is like take these tiers that are really pressured, like tier 6, and make it so they don't have to play against tier 8s, because tier 8s just literally delete tier 6s. But it's like tier 10 to tier 8 is fine, tier 7 to tier 9 is fine, right? It's tier 8 to tier 6 that's an issue. Mm-hmm. Would have preferred not to get spotted there. Yeah, yeah, but if you remove the ability of tier 6s to see tier 8s, then there'll automatically be more tier 6s to see tier 7s, right? Won't that fix that problem? Okay. You can't just sit there and aim at me, man. You need to move. I cannot believe that this fucking thing still isn't gone. It's kind of interesting. Wasted a little bit of time being passive here. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Thank you. Hello, Demolition. Most lines they release these days tend to start from tier 5, so that's not even that crazy. But like, I don't think you should disallow people from playing low tiers. Of course, you should be allowed to do that no matter how many games you have. That's just an unfortunate reality. Let them do that. Just make sure that the tier is balanced then. Don't introduce dumb shit that is just omega broken. That feeds on everyone's souls, right? It's not gonna move. Yeah, but that's assuming that you play one low tier tech tree, and then the other low tier tech tree, and then the other low tier tech tree. You grind that all out from begin with. The only way you can enforce that people spend all their low tier gaming grinding all the lines out is making it so that you can't go over tier 5 until you have a certain amount of games, right? And in fairness, to get people more used to playing the game, that would be healthy. But it's not financially feasible for wargaming to do. Because it means that they won't be able to buy tier 8 premiums for a good while, right? I do care about low tiers, Stepsis. I don't play them, but it's important that they stay somewhat okay, just so newer players and the game can stay healthy and hopefully maintaining its population base, even though I know it's been dropping in the last couple of years. But that'd be one way to stop that from happening, right? In fairness, though, I didn't get any, when I started and when most of us started, we didn't get any babying by the company to basically get us up to par with the rest of us. It was basically kill or be killed, essentially, right? And I think that's probably the most healthy thing if you want people to get good at something. They need to be forced to become good at it, right? Yeah, the HP boost they gave was good for that, for sure. I want to get a 111.5A, but is it worth grind? It's a solid tank. That gun is very good. Just very gold dependent. Your AP is pretty poor. Object 777 or the AE phase. Between those two, get the AE phase. Yeah, but it's got incredible armor if you know how to use it, killer. Øh, gennemsnit omkring 6-5 timer, tror jeg. Jeg har meget korte streams, og så har jeg meget lange streams. Så det er sådan lidt forskelligt. No, not necessarily. I didn't think the pattern was really that bad. It's definitely not a great tank and nothing I'm gonna be playing as a main, right? But I don't think it's an unplayable garbage pile. I think it's perfectly fine. Let's do this last game and call that for today. It's legit the donator tank. Yeah, when you play against bad players in it. I didn't think it was that bad. Playing it myself. I know, Stepsis. But if I can even pull any performance out of it, that means it's gotta be okay. Right? Like, if it's truly unplayable garbage, then I'll be basically having an awful time. Right? And I didn't have an awful time with it. I found it okay, but not great. Hey. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to convey. Why would the best head shoot there? That's interesting. Here he comes. Wish the CLC would be a little bit more active. Right now I need him to see other shit, not just the same thing over and over again. Is he gonna play? Not very happy. This STB is cooked. Yeah. Leopard's YOLOing. Sharoid. Escape, escape. Okay. Is that a barn? It's a barn. Good, he didn't pen him. It's true. Tier 10 matchmaking is Ebola. It's why most people tend to enjoy Tier 9 a lot more. Tier 10 is probably one of the most punishing tiers in the game to play. Mm-hmm. Renegade is definitely not what it used to be, but I still think it's a very powerful tier 8. It's just, again, the kind of competition it has to go up against is just... I mean, one fuck up and you die these days at tier 8, right? One fuck up and you die at tier 8, one fuck up and you die at tier 10. The only safe haven is like tier 9, because you can make a fuck up and not necessarily explode, right? Hmm. Steps is cooking. The problem is tier 10 is the worst matchmaking. Tier 10 gets the worst matchmaking because of what's in tier 10 matchmaking. You're constantly against the most powerful tier in the game, where the extremes and apexes of every single tech tree line are always at, right? So you are always playing against the best versions of every tech tree line in the game. The Bliska, fucking WZ113 GFT, for example, Yak Panzer, FV, fucking E100, IS7s, all this shit. All of them are the strongest. That's why tier 10 matchmaking is genuinely the worst. It doesn't matter if you're in a tier 10 tank yourself. The fact is you're just up against, like, no floor. Like, no shit. You're up against the worst competition you can be. Every extreme in the game exists at tier 10, right? And they are the most extreme at tier 10. That's why it's a bad tier to play. Yeah, and you keep spamming them. It's like Renegade is okay, but it's just not as good as it used to be, right? Excellent gun on it. I like the gun a lot, but you need to run like steps, vents, or whatever. Yeah, sorry. Don't mean to press you, Flasker. But it's like I play this tier the most, right? I always play tier 10. And then I play tier 8 whenever I'm farming credits. It's the most competitive tier, that's why I like it. Doesn't change the fact that it's the most punishing one to play. Punishing one to play. Yeah, 250 is okay with the APCR. But if we're talking the worst tier to grind for players in general in World of Tanks, or whenever, like if you're new or if you're even an older player, tier 6, I genuinely think that is the worst one if you are forced to play it. Because having to play against tier 8 is just pain. Tier 7 is the worst? I don't think so. There are some examples at tier 8 that are really, really, really. No, at tier 7, Nemesis. There are some situations that are really bad. But I think in general, most tier 7s are okay, even in tier 9. Because tier 9 just isn't that extreme of a tier. Hmm. Alright. I think I'm done for the day. I would love to keep playing, but I have to go and play some skirmishes before it becomes too late. Question is just where to throw you guys off to. There you go. I'm gonna give a favor back. I'm sorry to interrupt you guys' discussion. Thank you for this time. Genuinely. Pretty chill stream. I'll see you again tomorrow for hopefully a lot longer one. See yous.